Parshas Bechukoisai starts off with the words in Bechukoisai Teilechu ve'es mitzvosai tishmeru. If you follow in my ways and you do my mitzvahs, and the Torah goes on to list all the wonderful blessings and brachos and rewards that go on by fulfilling what Hashem wants. The leading commentator on the Torah, Rashi, explains that when the Torah says in Bechukoisai Teilechu, when you follow in my ways, it is not referring to doing mitzvahs. How do we know? Because the words right after that say, and you will do my mitzvahs. So obviously the words before that, in Bechukoisai Teilechu, and you will follow in my ways, allude to the idea of, as Rashi puts it, Shatiu amelim b'Torah, that you should be completely engrossed and enveloped in Torah. So the pasuk is saying, if you learn and you are engrossed in Torah, and you do my mitzvahs, you will get all these brachos. The problem with that is that the word the Torah uses and alludes to Torah in Bechukoisai, which loosely is my ways, but literally in Hebrew, Bechukoisai comes from the word chayk, which is a statute. One of the three types of, you guessed it, mitzvahs. Chukim represent the mitzvahs that we don't understand. So why would, when the Torah would be trying to hint to us that we need to learn Torah, would it give us a terminology that is used for mitzvahs? The Torah saying, in Bechukoisai, gives people the chance to make the mistake that it's referring to mitzvahs. It's referring to the part of mitzvahs that are called chukim, the ones that we don't understand. But explains the Rebbe that Bechukoisai comes from the word chayk, which means statute, which is a part of the mitzvahs, but it also comes from the word chakika, engraving. We know famously when something's engraved, that which it is being engraved into and that which is being engraved are no longer two separate things. They now become one thing. It is not ink on a paper, where as close as you bring it together, they're two separate things. When something is engraved, the words are one with the object in which they are engraved upon. The two things are no longer two separate things, but they become one thing. That fits exactly with what we were saying. Rashi told us Bechukoisai means Shatiu amelim b'Torah, that you should be engrossed in Torah. How engrossed should you be in Torah? Bechukoisai, in a way of engraving, that when you learn Torah, there's not me and Torah. We become one entity and one metzias, that the Torah becomes completely one with you. That is why we find a lot of times in Torah where Moshe Rabbeinu says, and I will give you brachos, and I will make the grass grow. Obviously Moshe Rabbeinu is not the one who makes the grass grow, Hashem is. But Moshe was so connected with Hashem that it was literally Hashem speaking through him. They were one metzias, they were one entity. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai also famously said, I know of special people, but they're not so many. And if there was only one special person, if there was only one person who was called a B'nai Aliyah, a high level, it would be me. Seemingly that's very odd for a tzaddik to say that if there's one special person in the world, it'd be me. But clearly, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai wasn't talking for himself. It was Hashem talking through Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. He was literally a conduit, a vessel, a pipeline for Hashem's words to pass through him. And that is how we should be when it comes to Torah. And the Rebbe explains even further that that is what a chayk is. Ein mikra yetzi midei pshutei. There is no pasuk that goes out of its literal meaning. While Bechukoisai can mean chakika, engraving, it also means chayk, which is a part of the mitzvahs. But that also fits in here. Because what's the whole idea of doing a mitzvah that you don't understand? You do it just because Hashem said so. When you learn Torah, you're meant to understand it. When you learn Torah Shebal Peh, Mishnayos and Gemara, and you don't understand it, you are not yaitze learning Torah. You do not fulfill your obligation of learning Torah. Of course you're meant to understand it, but at the same time, that's meant to inspire you to do the mitzvahs in a way that even though you understand it, you do it just because Hashem said so. So Bechukoisai teaches us two things. Number one, the Torah needs to become completely one with us, that it's Hashem speaking through us. And at the same time, it's meant to give us the inspiration to do the mitzvahs in a way that we understand the mitzvahs, but at the same time, doing the mitzvahs only because Hashem said so, and not for any other ulterior motive, because it is this avodah, it is this mindset that shows Hashem that we are doing things the right way and making this world a fitting place, not just in the holy spaces, but everywhere across the entire world for the coming of Mashiach. May he come speedily in our days. Wishing you a wonderful Shabbos.